All right, in this video, we're going to go and use the same program that we developed when we talked about the if statements and modify a little bit using the logical and logical or operators. And we'll use some of the unary operators that we learned as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. We have to add two new variables to make what we want to do work. And so here's the plan. We want to tighten up what our loan criteria are. We don't necessarily want somebody having, a one-to-one debt to income ratio. So, that means that they make just as much as that they're paying on their debt, right? But what we want to do is also give people options to make their credit profile better. So we want to give them the option to, pay a down payment. That makes it easier for us to assume that they could pay back the loan since it'll be a lower loan amount. So what we need are two new variables, right? And one extra integer variable and one boolean variable. So on this extra integer variable, we'll call it uh, loan amount, and that'll just figure out what the total loan. We'll ask the user what the total loan amount they want to take out, and then the extra boolean variable we'll put down here, and we'll call it boolean down payment. So it'll be either yes or no. Are they going to put a down payment or not? All right. So what we can put down here in this, when we're asking the user different questions, again, we can use the input variable and JOption pane dot show input dialog. Uh, and here we'll say, how much do how much do you wish to borrow? And here we're going to ask the user how much they're going to borrow. And we'll take that input and we'll stick it into the integer loan amount. Just like we did the previous integers, we'll convert the string into an integer data type using a method from the integer class, which is, we'll call the integer class that parse, which is the method. And then we'll use a different uh, uh, method to class and method to figure out the down payment. So we'll again put input is equal to JOption pane dot show in dog input, and then we'll ask, will you put a down payment? And then here we'll ask the user, let's put this semicolon here so we don't forget, enter true for yes and false for no. And there's a reason why we're putting true or false, and you'll see here in literally 2 seconds. And we'll use the boolean variable that we just declared up top, down payment, and we'll set that equal to the boolean class, and we use, and we'll use parse boolean and input. And what this method does is it takes this entry either true or false, and if the string matches up with true, it returns true to this boolean variable, inputs true into the boolean variable, and the boolean variable will store true. If there's any other input besides true, then it'll automatically uh, parse it as false and and input false into or return false into the down payment boolean or any boolean variable for that matter. So now that we have that, now that we know whether or not the user um, has will return or will pay a down payment, we can sort of change this this conditional statement about whether or not the 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 borrower has the minimum score required uh, to be qualified for a loan. So we can just say here, we'll use those. You say debt to income ratio is greater than or equal to, and we'll tighten this up and say it's 50%, 0.5. And here's where logical operators work. You can say, or where we're going to use logical operators, you can say debt to income ratio is if the debt to income ratio is greater than 50%, and the loan amount is greater than or equal to um, let's say the borrower's yearly salary, so total income times 12. If this amount is greater than or equal to the loan amount, and the debt to income ratio is greater than 50%, then they don't qualify. That's true. Otherwise, else it's false. They do qualify. So also, we'll also put down here. We'll change this conditional statement to include something that will help the lenders as well. We'll say if if the lender is below the min score, we'll say oops, and then we'll inverse that with the unary operator. Not so if this returns true, if the lender is below the min score, if that's true, and then we inverse that, then it turns to false. Or down payment, or they submitted a down payment, then we'll say here we'll reverse this. We'll reverse this and say congratulations, you are qualified. Otherwise, we'll say sorry, you do not qualify. So let's review what we did here. We said we asked the user or the person that's looking to borrow money, enter your income and debts, and we will tell you if you qualify for loan. Enter your monthly income, and then they put their monthly income here. And then we ask them enter your monthly debt, and we'll see what their monthly debt payments are here. And then we ask them how much do you wish to borrow, and then they put in the total amount they borrow here into the loan amount integer. And then finally we ask them, will you put a down payment? Enter true for yes, and or we'll say or false for no. And what that does is just it will tell it's a true or false statement. Either you are going to put a down payment or you're not. And if you are, then you enter true, and then the the parse boolean method will return either a true statement if you put in true, and any other input will be false, and it returns that value into the down payment boolean variable. We do the same debt to income ratio calculation in line 27, and then we ask in this conditional statement where we're trying to figure out um, whether or not the the borrower meets our minimum score, our minimum criteria. And that is if the debt to income ratio is greater than 50% or zero point 0.5, and the loan amount is greater than uh, the 12 months pay of a of the borrower, then they don't qualify. Otherwise, they qualify. So that sets that initializes that Boolean variable below min score. That decision structure, this if statement, if else statement. Below that, we have another if else statement. It asks, if the the bar is below min score not, so if this is true, then this returns false, or and vice versa, or down payment is true, then it returns congratulations, you qualify. If both of these are false, say this guy is above 50% and asking for more than 12 months worth of income, or uh, he's not putting a down payment, that means this could return, sorry, you do not qualify. So let's go ahead and run this program. And something I do need to clear up is I do need to change this statement and make pretty much all of these doubles, because we're trying to divide two integers. Is going to come out with possibly a decimal, so, or 100% a decimal. So we're going to change these to doubles. I mean, it doesn't hurt to change loan amount into the double either. So that clears up that last error, and the only error is if statement here is definitely can be simplified, but again, for example purposes, we'll roll with this. So we'll go ahead and compile this program, and it's asking us enter your monthly income. So we'll say $600. So that's about $7,200 a year, and your monthly debt payments, we'll say $500 a month. Make sure your debt to income ratio about 0.83 or 83%. And how much do you wish to borrow? Well, for now, we'll say we want to borrow only $500. Do I want to put a down payment? Say yes, sure. Congratulations, I qualify. However, let's try to not qualify. Say we borrow $600 a month. Still have, or we make $600 a month, and then we pay $500 a month on debt, and we want to borrow $8,000. And I don't want to make a down payment, so I'll put down false. I don't qualify, and that pretty much follows the decision tree that we have here. So again, same with the last program. I'll post that on at the end of the week, so you guys can parse through and look at the statements. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or direct message me on Canvas.